Hi, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about stress and anxiety. Who has stress and anxiety? Anyone? I didn't think I had stress and anxiety for the most part of my life until one morning I woke up and my vision was blurry. I went to an eye doctor and learned that I had central serous retinopathy, CSR. That's where the serous part of the blood begins to penetrate into, or actually gets in between the eyeball wall and the retina, and it pulls the retina up from the eyeball wall, creating blurry vision. Of course, it looked like looking through crinkled up wax paper. Yeah, lots of fun. I also learned that that is a condition that predominantly affects men that are under a lot of stress and anxiety. So, of course, I was told to relax. Relax. I didn't even know I had stress and anxiety. I thought this is the way everybody lived. So I started to learn to meditate. Now, meditation is a great way to relax, but it doesn't really handle the everyday stresses, the everyday triggers of anxiety and stress. It's a good way, though, to determine what peacefulness feels like. So when you're in that state of meditation, you go like, oh, so this is what relaxation feels like. But when you're going throughout your day and you have all these stresses and triggers, you can't just run into a room and start to meditate. So how do you handle those daily triggers? How do one actually start to relieve the stress and anxiety? Now, it took me years and years to learn this. But actually, once I became a hypnotherapist, I realized hypnosis is a wonderful way to do that. And I started to learn different techniques through hypnosis. Now, on my website, it's a blog called 5 Steps to Stop the What Ifs. The what ifs, all that crazy scenarios that go on in our mind. And so I'm just going to cover I basically boil it down to like 3 steps. And I practice this all the time because I don't really think that anyone who has stress and anxiety can actually ever get rid of stress and anxiety. But what we can do is learn when that stress starts to boil up. We can learn when we're under that stress. We can learn when that trigger hits, and we can stop it. I do. I haven't had a CSR event in several years now because I stop the triggers. I stop the stress. I realize when the anxiety hits. And the first step is just basically awareness. You start to feel that stress or anxiety starting to form in your gut. And I go like, and so the first thing I start to feel that and go like, hey, what's going on? So often it's not even conscious. We just start to feel it. And you go like, so what's going on? What's happening in my life right now that's causing me stress and anxiety? I just take a moment. I can do this in the kitchen while I'm fixing lunch or something. I'm starting to feel it. I'm going like, what's going on? And I mean, this is how fast it takes. It just takes a few questions. So I determine what's going on. And once I find out what's going on, it could be a scenario, it could be an event, it could be maybe I need to prepare for a class or whatever it is. And it's the first question after I realize what it is what's the worst case scenario? What's the likelihood? And then what's the likelihood of that happening? Because most of the time, once you face that worst case scenario, which you subconsciously are feeling in your gut, but you're not consciously aware of. But once you face it, and you go like, oh, that's not going to happen. Or likely not have to happen. Or even if it were to happen, it's like, well, I can handle that if that's the worst case scenario. But what's plan B? What's another plan I could use to stop that worst case scenario from happening? So now you're facing it and you're coming up with alternate plans. And that's basically the second step, is once you start asking those questions. Other questions you can ask, depending on what type of scenario is, am I in control or not? If you're in control of something, you can create another plan. If it's out of control, and so often during COVID, I was dealing with this, I was having anxiety over COVID, anxiety over whatever, and you're not in control of that. But what are you in control of? You're in control of your feelings and how you react to it. And so I let it go. Or I started thinking of scenarios that I wanted to happen. And that's the third step. What do you want to happen? What do you want to happen instead? So here's the scenario. Here's the possible worst case scenario that's happening. What do you want to happen instead? You take control. Because our bodies produce an energy that really goes into the universe. And believe it or not, that energy actually attracts your reality. And do you really want that worst case scenario reality? Do you want to track that? No. What do you want to attract? You want to attract the scenario you want. The really good scenario, right? Whatever it is that is. And so now step 3 is you think about, what do you want? And what does that look like? And what does it feel like? If it actually came, imagine, like you're sitting in a movie theater and you're looking up on the screen and you are watching this scenario, the one you want, happening in front of you. What would that feel like? Apply imagination and emotion. Because the emotion is the driving force. It's the energy that's going out into the universe. It's attracting what you want. Now, the cool thing, since I've been doing this for several years now, and the cool thing is, my best case scenario, or something equivalent to it, is what happens. Not the worst case scenario. I don't let that happen. I attract what I want. And you can too. And so in just 3 steps, being aware of that stress and anxiety, stopping it before it grows any stronger, stopping it, asking yourself some questions that allow you to face it so you know exactly what's going on. The majority of the time, it goes away. And if not, you know what to do with it. You change it. And 3, changing it, imagining it, adding vibration to it, emotion, and then even thanking yourself for that. Those are the 3 steps. And what you can do now is you can, if you're interested, if you want to work with me to help, so I can help you to be in control of your stress and anxiety, reach out to me. I have blogs and on my website. You can contact my website and read about more information about how you can. There's several different web blogs regarding stress and anxiety. I really want to help people to regain control of their emotions, their stress and anxiety. So hopefully you're not one of those people facing medical issues regarding stress and anxiety. This is Art with Breaking Day Hypnotherapy. Thanks so much.